Once students have completed their exams and non-examined assessment or NEA, and all of the assessments have been marked, we decide the grade boundaries for the qualification. This process is known as awarding. Grade boundaries indicate the minimum mark required to get each grade. For example, a grade 4 boundary of 34 would mean you need 34 marks to get a grade 4. Why is it necessary to set the grade boundaries for each qualification each year? Awarding organizations, like Pearson, work hard to set exam papers and NEA tasks with the same level of difficulty each year. But in reality, exam papers and NEA tasks may turn out to be slightly harder or slightly easier than previous assessments because of the different subject matter and different questions that are asked from year to year. It'd be unfair for students in a particular year to get a lower grade just because they completed harder exams, or to get higher grades because their NEA tasks were easier. So we set new grade boundaries each exam series. This is why grade boundaries can be different each year for each qualification. This system ensures a level playing field. It should be no easier or harder to get a grade 4, for example, this year from last year. Who sets grade boundaries? A team of senior examiners, who are subject experts, oversee the awarding process for each qualification, including someone who is accountable for the entire qualification, such as the chair of examiners, someone who is responsible for a number of different papers, such as the chief examiner, people who are responsible for specific papers, such as principal examiners. There are also internal Pearson staff, including awarding officers who work with the experts to review the evidence to which informs where grade boundaries are set. A responsible officer at each awarding organization is ultimately accountable for all final grade boundary decisions. The whole process is monitored by Ofqual, the qualifications regulator. What actually happens? There are 3 main steps in the process. Step 1. The pre-award meeting. Before the pre-award meeting, all marking is completed with rigorous quality checks in place to ensure that each mark has been awarded consistently and all marks are in the system, which provides robust statistical evidence about all the students who sat the exams, and principal examiners tell us where they think the grade boundaries should fall. They give us a range of marks and a report to justify their decisions based on feedback from their examiners about student performance on the paper and each individual question within it, question papers from previous years, a review of work produced by students in previous exam sessions, statistics which can tell us, for example, the average mark from each exam. All of this evidence is discussed and a decision is made on the range of marks that will determine what student work will be looked at during the awarding meeting. Step 2. The awarding meeting. The awarding committee meets to review all available evidence and finalize the recommended boundary marks for each key grade. This will include all of the things mentioned in Step 1, plus looking at student work around the specific grade boundaries. After the awarding meeting, the awarding officer will document the grade boundary recommendations in the awarding file. This file is passed through 3 internal quality checks to make sure all the evidence had been appropriately considered. Step 3. The awarding sign-off. The standards team check all of the decisions and there is enough evidence to justify the grade boundary recommendations. It is then signed off by Pearson's responsible officer. Once the grade boundaries have been signed off, they are entered into our computer system so that a student's mark can be translated into their final grade. Why go to these lengths? Because grades matter. This process means that a student who performed to the same level should get the same grade, whether they sat the exams this year or last year, and regardless of the exam board they sat it with. If you're interested in finding more about the awarding process for the different qualifications, here are some useful links.